mind, and you work with Mother Nature in the dirt in your backyard, because you get it under your fingernails, and you know what? It makes you happy. They proved that dirt has antidepressant qualities to it. So if you are depressed, get outside, get in the woods, stick your hand in the ground and feel that, smell that. That's what makes us alive. We don't live without Mother Earth. If she's unhealthy, you know what? We're unhealthy. So this place, I want to thank the owners of this farm for having us here today. It's a beautiful piece of property. They're growing food, they're using animals, and they're living lightly on the land, and they're bringing community into this area and sharing with them. So one of the basics of permaculture, actually 3 of the basics of permaculture, is earth care, people care, and fair share, share of the surplus. So if you learn how to grow enough food, you grow enough for you and everybody in your neighborhood. If you know how to grow tomatoes and your next door neighbor knows how to grow corn, what? You don't have to grow corn. You trade your tomatoes for some corn. So we're sharing. We're learning how to deal with each other's idiosyncrasies and not get pissed off and hate somebody. We learn to love everybody for their differences, because we're all different and we got to live with that, right? So when you give up on hate and you think positive, then you bring in people and you bring in good energy and positive vibrations. Vibrations make the world go round. The more positive they are, the more fun it is to go around with it, right? So permaculture teaches us how to look at all of the systems that we've designed as humankind that are destroying the planet and making us sick, and flip that script, right? And turn it into positive, forward, solution-based design systems where we figure out, well, how am I going to heat my house without using electricity? You know what? Wood burns. It gets hot. You can heat your house with no electricity. You can heat your water. You can cook your food. I love this barbecue setup over here. Look at that. There's not even any propane on that thing. And how does that pork taste? What? Woo! And it was raised right here on the farm. Is that right? Yeah. That's right. Love to see it. We can grow our own food. We don't need to buy anything that's been manufactured and put through a machine and poisoned by industrial communities. All right. We want to make live, healthy, vibrant communities that rely on each other rather than the system that's destroying us, right? Yeah. So I created a little acronym for permaculture. No, you don't. And it says this way: positive, environmental, revitalization methods, applying, creative utilitarian logic towards a unified relationship with everything, right? You learn how to do this stuff and your whole world turns around on you. You learn how to treat people good and put positive energy into any system. You put energy into any system, you're going to get some energy back. You put positive energy into that system, you're going to get positive energy back. So the more you share, the more you let go of hate, the better off you're going to be, and the better off everybody around you is going to be, and you'd be amazed at how things start happening for you and for the people that you care about. So it really breaks down to getting your hands in the dirt, be it somebody else's piece of property, be it your own piece of property, a community garden, wherever it is, and working with people to make a healthy future for all of us. And the kids are what's important here. You know, this is our time, but we are giving it and building it for them in the future. So we have a right, we have a duty to the planet, to ourselves, and to our kids and their kids to make this place as easy to live in as possible. So there's a lot of, questions about whether or not climate change is actually happening. Well, every day is a different day, so that's change right there. But in general, whether or not we are doing it and creating climate change or not, this is the way to live comfortably on the planet. And if we learn how to adapt to increasing situations that may be volatile at times, Hurricane Katrina comes to mind when, the entire state's out of electricity for a couple of months. I didn't have any worries because I had wood fired stacked up, burning my wood stove and my rocket stove, and I was cooking food for everybody in my neighborhood. So if you think on it as a whole picture, we are not independent of any other human being. We would not be here if it wasn't for our parents, their parents, parents, grandparents, all the way back down the line. So the thing is, we have a responsibility to make this place better than we found it, right? So I said earth care, fair share, and share the surplus, right? Or Back up. Yingling's hitting. Thanks again. Yeah. So people care, that's it. Earth care, people care, fair share. Share the surplus. The idea that there is a lack of availability of food in this world is an illusion. We throw away 1/3 of the food that we grow because we cannot figure out, and we are not creative enough to design a system to supply that food to the people who need it. So instead we throw it in the garbage can, and friends of mine go and scoop it out and take it home and eat it. And it's good because it's free. And otherwise it's going to go in the dumpster and create huge amounts of methane gas, huge amounts of carbon dioxide, things that we think are harming our atmosphere, right? So,
it's harming our body.
Sir?
It's harming our body.
It's harming our bodies, it's harming our health, that's right. So, one of the ways that they look at permaculture and designing permaculture systems is that you start in zones. And the closest zone to any individual is the space between your ears. That's zone 0. And how do you get right with that? That's where you start. And then from there, zone 1 is your immediate surroundings, your house and your garden, where you get your food from. And then so on, where are your animals? And you keep these things as close to you as possible, because when the shit hits the fan, sorry if there's any kids in the audience, we're gonna need that stuff, right? So the more we build those and the more we convince our neighbors to build those, the easier it's gonna be when the fan gets going real good. And we are holding this thing up by a thread. You know, we got building is coming back, you know, the economy is coming back, but what is the economy based on but a bunch of numbers in a computer? Well, what if those computers don't have electricity all of a sudden? Then where's the economy? It's in your backyard. So some of the principles that we use in permaculture practice that kind of define where we're going to go and what we're going to do, I'm going to share with you right now. There's generally 6 of them. The first one is observe and interact. You observe what's going on in your vicinity. What are the people doing? What are the people talking about? What is the pulse of your neighborhood? How do you tap into that? And how do you work with that to your benefit and the benefit of everyone in your neighborhood? Convincing them to grow their own food, to get their antidepressants out of the soil, making everybody happy, making everybody not want or need for our most basic necessities. That's a roof over our head, food in our bellies, and friends and community in our neighborhood. That's all we need. We don't need money. We don't need stuff. All this stuff that they make for us, they make it to break the day you take it home from the store, so you go back and buy another one. It's called planned obsolescence, or, you know, architecture of junkyards. So we want to learn how to need less. Make no waste is another great permaculture principle. There is no away. When you use something, you don't throw it away. You throw it in somebody else's backyard. Somebody lives right next to that landfill that's getting filled up with every plastic cup and water bottle and beer can that's not being recycled. So you want to try and realize the necessity for using less of those sorts of things. Carpooling. Put 4 people in the car every time you possibly can to go anywhere, because it's made for that. Putting one person in a car and driving 150 miles one way and 150 miles back is wasteful. So we don't do that if we can help it, right? I'm not saying I'm perfect. I drove here by myself. You know what I'm saying? In a minivan. Right, so, but you know, yeah, they help pay for the gas, right? So there's all kinds of ways to look at it. And a lot of it starts, like I said before, at zone 0. It's in between your ears. What is your idea of what works? If you get a positive mindset, you introduce yourself to people that have a positive mindset, then your world becomes more positive just like that. So it's all about the way you think and the way you look at things.